Good evening, Texas bikers and bikers all across the nation. This is Texas Biker Radio number 391. My name is Mel Popeye Moss. My co-host, Mel OG Robbins. We are with Sons of Liberty Riders MC, who are sponsors of this show each and every week. And we want everybody to know that we are defenders of the Constitution and people who've had their constitutional rights violated. Now, all that being said, Mel, how you doing?
Well, I'm surviving, waiting for the great apocalypse.
Yeah, right. The world has gone crazy out there, but we'll talk about that in a bit. And Mel, we announced the other day. I came on while I was out here doing some work in the studio, and it's my refuse from the house. I'm getting cabin fever being pinned up. And I've already been pinned up for, a month now from my cancer surgery and stuff. And so have you. And so, this is not helping matters, is it?
Well, you just take it a day at a time. Bored as hell, but you got to take it a day at a time.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. But, we talked, I talked about the other day, I said, well, we'll come back on here and talk about, events that have been canceled. Now, of some specific events that's been canceled here in Texas?
Well, I mean, first of all, we canceled the Texas COC&I state rally.
Yeah.
That's been canceled. United Clubs announced that all events that were posted on their site have pretty much been canceled.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anything biker event related that has not been canceled.
And let me see. I think it was the Texas Defenders was going to have a class down in the Houston area, and I think that's been canceled or moved back. And there are a lot of events out there right now. The annual things that clubs do that have been pushed back weeks or maybe a month or two, and so they will be posting as we go along here. And I don't know of any national events that are going on right now. It seems like they got through with the bike week in Florida. And so, that's, I guess without too many of them being thrown out, I know the young people are still out there on the beaches or, not in Dade County. They shut all them down. But from what I understand, all the others, I think it was yesterday on Monday. I guess Monday. Let me see. Oh no, they're going to wrap that up this next Monday. In other words, it's time to go home, kids.
Well, there's going to be some of them that are going to be in shock because they think they're bulletproof.
Yeah.
But I happen to know of a couple of people that just came back from Florida yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're more middle-aged to almost senior.
Yeah.
There were two of them. And the younger guy, who I think is like in his maybe late 40s,
mm-hmm.
He's been tested. The test isn't back, but they're pretty sure he's got it.
Uh-oh.
He's got all the raging symptoms. And he's fresh back from Florida. So there you go.
Yeah. I did mention the other day, one of the cures for the cabin fever is the fact that, we've got monsoons going on here right now. We've had one rainstorm after the other all week long, and it looks like it's going to dry out on Sunday. Now, if you've got the cabin fever, There's nothing that stops you from getting on your motorcycle and taking a little ride. Nothing. As long as you're gassed up, you can go take a little ride and go enjoy yourself. That's the wonderful thing.
That's right.
It really is. And we suggest you do that. Now, here in about 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to pick a warm weekend and we're going to do a Corona ride. Just go out and enjoy ourselves, ride out to somewhere, turn around, come back. We don't have to hug and kiss each other and all that stuff. No. Just go out and take a ride, enjoy yourself, get out in the fresh air, and go back home and to your cocoon. But I look forward to that, and we'll pick a date for that. You think so, Mel?
Yeah, I think it would be great.
I do
because
too.
I am just frickin' going nuts. But, one thing I've noticed, excuse me, and that's an allergy cough.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, we can both explain that. I've got a runny nose, which they say, hey, look, if you don't have 2 or 3 symptoms, you don't have it. And one of the other keys is fever, having a fever.
Right.
So,
you go out, if you're out in public, when you've got allergies, you got a runny nose.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're coughing because you build up a little bit of chest congestion from all the drainage.
Yeah.
But you get these death looks, like people are looking at you. So you do your damnedest not to cough, But I have noticed every day, and I think I was talking with you about this the other day, that we hear everything from the worst conspiracy theory.
Oh man.
In the world, that this virus was created by man and released on purpose, yada yada yada, to it's nothing, to people that have kids that are doctors that are telling them that the CDC is lying to everyone, this is far worse than it's really being portrayed. Mm-hmm. So it's just all over the boards. But the truth of the matter is, we've seen epidemics in the past. Yeah. Swine flu, H1 whatever, that have killed far more people. As a matter of fact, the common cold, I think, kills more people in a year than this has so far.
The flu definitely does.
Now, they keep trying to tell you that it's lung-destroying and stuff like that, and maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah. But the one thing I have noticed for sure is every day you see them cinch up a little bit more and become more restrictive in certain areas. And it's starting to spread, and it's getting tighter and tighter. Now, I don't know where it's going, but all I know is every day you hear that it's gotten a little stricter out there somewhere.
Oh, yeah, because we went from California going into total lockdown to New York into total lockdown to Illinois into total lockdown, and there's several more. So this is what we have going on. Go ahead.
These lockdowns are still a little liberal, where they're saying, if you have to go out and go grocery shopping or this, that, and the other, and it's imperative for you to be out there, you can do it. But they don't want you just going out for no reason. But, that's what they've taken it to so far. Plus which, people have noticed that, there's National Guards being activated. And I think Governor Abbott came out with a statement that, National Guards have been activated. It's not to perform police duties, but it's to deliver medical supplies and to help clean up and sterilize areas, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Well, that can be advanced also. So, you need to watch what's going on and be aware. My daughter, for instance, one of my daughters called me. She was visiting in Chicago. She lives in Las Vegas. She was visiting in Chicago. She saw things were going south and she wanted to get home, which was smart. So she books a flight, Vegas. They're in the plane, taxiing down towards the runway, and the plane has to turn around and go back, and the pilot made the comment, this has never happened. What happened was some air traffic controller in Vegas had been diagnosed with the virus.
Yeah.
So they were shutting down ATC in Vegas. Flights that were about to land were turned around and sent back to the airport they originated from. She was not able to get a flight out of there, so she texted me and said, I can get a flight to LA or Phoenix. And I told her, I said, Phoenix is probably safer. And she said, well, but I've got friends in Los Angeles. I said, well, be very careful.
Yeah.
But she got a flight to Vegas, and she got a bus. They were still running buses.
Oh, my God.
To Vegas. When she departed the plane, she grabbed an Uber. From the time she landed, 45 minutes later, she was on a bus to Vegas. Because I told her, I said, you get to Los Angeles, you get the hell out of California as fast as you can. And she did. Now, I haven't talked to her. She was just beat. But I'm kind of curious as to, A, how crowded was the plane, B, how crowded was the bus.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe they were still running the bus.
Well, let me tell you, a bus, I would have told her to get a rental car.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm jumping on a bus right now.
I wouldn't think so, no.
Really? Oh, my goodness. Hey, what do you think, OG, what do you think of people caught in Peru?
People what?
They're caught in Peru.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, people that aren't already back, I think are in trouble. They may have to wait a while before anybody comes to get them. So they may be kind of stuck in some of these places, especially where there's not a bunch of them. And they're already warning everybody about that. If you leave the country, you may have to stay out of the country for a while, even though it may not be your fault, because you can get caught in these travel bans now that other countries are starting to shut down their borders. Absolutely incredible, man. Absolutely
yeah, even
incredible.
Canada's, even the northern border's closed now.
Yeah.
Even the northern border.
Yeah, I just want everybody to know we're going to be talking about Milam County after we're finished talking about the coronavirus.
What's remarkable here was the president was literally crucified for starting to shut down the borders, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, they were calling him a bigot, every name under the sun. Europe was all upset. And you know what? Thank God he closed the borders when he did, or we'd be in a lot worse shape.
Yeah.
And now everyone else is shutting their border.
Yeah. Italy is in really bad shape. Worse than China, which is hard to believe.
Well, listen to this. You know why Italy's in really bad shape?
Go ahead.
I read an interesting article.
Mm-hmm.
Italy uses China to manufacture all of their tile.
Exactly.
A lot of the Italian tile is made in China. So you had all these people traveling from Italy to China and back.
Yes.
Back and forth. And that's how it got so propagated in Italy. They did it to themselves.
Yeah. And you know, over there in Europe, after Trump did that, shut down the airlines and stuff, over in Europe they had a hug an Asian day. So they're hugging all over.
Yeah. They're nuts.
I'm telling you. We see some of the goofiest things going on outside. And Mel, today, oh God, Jill had to go to Target. Just had to. So I ride up there with her to kind of control things and see what was going on up there. And Mel, here in Texas, I mean, you can drive down the highway and it still looks, there's a lot of people doing business as usual. There's a lot of things still going on here, even though the restaurants and stuff are shut down. Everybody's busy doing their job. Whether you're in a car dealership, in the service department, construction, plumbers, air conditioning guys, you name it. They're out there working. They got to make a living. And so there's a lot of foot traffic going on, even in and out of the stores. And although I did see people going into that Target maintaining their 6 feet, not that many had on any type of mask or anything like that. And so, you know, it's you just watch people, and I love watching people. And it was interesting because there's commerce still going on. And the truckers are running up and down the highway. Now, I did hear them talk about this morning, hey, the truck stops got to stay open. The trucks got to have gas. They've got to have food. They've got to get the products out there.
I talked to Grease Monkey. We've got a couple truckers in our chapter, you know.
Right.
I talked to Grease Monkey today, and I was hearing the same thing you were hearing because they've been posting it on social media.
Uh-huh.
And I asked him, I said, you know, because he's all over the United States. And
right.
I said, they keeping you busy? He said, yeah. He said, they really are. He said, but the priority right now is medical supplies.
Right.
And that's the biggie. You'd have thought groceries, but it's medical supplies they're shipping around.
Yeah.
And I said, what about the truck stops? He said, they're not too bad. He said, you know, I can get fuel. He said, the problem is, he said, you can get food.
Yeah. But
you can't dine in.
Right.
It's all takeout. So you got to eat it in your truck. And he said, I stayed a step ahead of that anyway. And he said, he said, my truck's full of food. I got lunch meat. He said, I got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry. But he kind of indicated that, you know, most of the food operations are still running in a lot of these truck stops, but it's takeout only.
Right. Right. Well, I can kind of see that. I mean, you know, got to do what you got to do. You know, Mel, I saw the National Guard up in New York this morning, and of course they're running around instead of instead of M14s, like Joe Biden has.
Yeah.
They were running around with wipes, and they were wearing some masks. They were not N95 masks, I noticed. Just maybe those little white jobs that you see. You know what I'm talking about? You know, that little painter's job?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't really a real high quality mask. But they had them on, and they were standing at attention and wiping down stuff. Kind of interesting.
Well, I was listening to a commentator on the radio that was talking about the masks, He was talking about a lot of stuff that's being said.
Yeah.
And he was either validating it or debunking it. And when it came to masks, there's really only one kind of mask that will protect you from the virus fairly well. And it's a certain type. It fits your face. There are no gaps.
That's an N95.
The problem is, don't touch your eyes, don't touch your face with your hands, and that's where most people fail. And he said these other masks, like the surgical masks and stuff like that, he said there's air gaps in there.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop it.
You might as well be wearing your bandana.
Yeah. I mean, if it makes you feel better, that's fine, but it's not going to stop shit. So...
Yeah. First they went, respirators, and then they went ventilators. They're still talking about ventilators. Now there's companies that are volunteering to transform their plants into making ventilators. But, Mel, by the time they got the amount of ventilators that everybody thinks they should have, this virus may have run its course. By the time they got, millions of ventilators. Millions. We have 350 million people in the country. How many do we need? What kind of guesswork would that be?
I keep hearing there are no ventilators left, at least in the Dallas area. Everything we have is being used right now.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see, because I'm sure the first person that dies because there's not a ventilator available, they'll be screaming to high heaven. But Mel, there never was enough of this stuff. From day one, there wasn't enough respirators. There wasn't enough ventilators. Nobody could predict this was going to happen at this kind of magnitude.
Trump actually said today, I think it was today or yesterday, he actually said that the system that was in place was archaic. It was in no way prepared to handle what in the hell's going on now. Mm-hmm. They've had to start from ground zero.
Yeah.
And build a whole new system.
If you read that article I wrote in TexasBikerRadio.org, I wrote an article. It's called "Bring It Back." I'm talking about manufacturing. Bring it back. Our manufacturing capability, whether it be for pharmaceuticals, whether it be for medical equipment, whether it be for aircraft, whatever. We need to bring our manufacturing base back to this country. The day of these corporations chasing cheap labor, and that's what this is over. You remember me telling everybody about NAFTA, about battling NAFTA, about us telling them everything that would go on, everything would happen. We would lose our manufacturing base, and the first things we lost were the textile industries on the eastern shore. Then they started coming after automobile industries and this and that and the other aircraft industries, on and on and on, chasing cheap labor, and politicians that were allowing it to happen actually facilitated it all happening. And to the point, Mel, that we don't produce a single aspirin in this country anymore. We lost that, I think it was in 2002 or 2004. We don't produce this equipment. Listen to this, Mel. Even the circuit boards for ventilators, they're made in China. And guess what?
Oh, yeah.
They quit producing them. When Wuhan went down, and I think that was the cause of it. Even if you were producing it, who's going to build the circuit boards? if we're depending on China to build them.
They make all the chips.
Yeah. So manufacturing, and especially pharmaceuticals, anything we really depend on to defend ourselves, whether it be from a virus or from another country, needs to be produced in this country.
Well, you know, it all wasn't corporate greed either that sent it over.
Oh yeah.
I remember when I worked for Honeywell. Used to talk about a printed circuit board division that was moved from the United States down to Mexico. And the main reason it was moved was that OSHA and the environmentalists were so stringent.
There you go.
They couldn't afford to operate the unit in the United States. They moved it to Mexico. Now, of course, it went totally to the other side of the spectrum, and they were dumping solvents out on the ground, you know.
Yeah.
It went ridiculous, but the reason they had to get it out of the United States was they couldn't afford to operate the unit here.
Yeah.
Because of all the stringent rules.
Yeah. And you know, Mel, and the fact is, too, that a lot of companies had to do it in order to compete, because Chinese companies are subsidized by their government. And they could do the work so cheap that these other companies couldn't compete without doing that. But somewhere here, Mel, we need to address this situation. It can't be like this, where we're dependent on a foreign country for our health, for our security. It just shouldn't happen. And for our intellectual, property rights. That may be the wrong word for it, but you know what I'm talking about. They steal from us all the time. I think the matter of fact is there was a chip on the space shuttle where the Russians had copied it. You know, that space shuttle.
And now they're trying to hold us hostage.
Yeah, and that space shuttle they built, Mel, that chip had a Texas Instrument emblem on it, down to the emblem. They copied it. Freaking unbelievable. We shouldn't be passing our technology off to other countries, especially countries that would do us harm. Just shouldn't do it. Shouldn't happen. And shame on politicians that enabled all this. And many of those people, Mel, are still in office. Think about that. Some of the main ones that are up there bitching were part of this. And they've been there for decades.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of crooks there. Did you see where there was at least 4 senators that were on the Intelligence Committee that were in a briefing in January about the virus that promptly went out and sold all their stock?
Oh, yeah.
Feinstein was one of them.
Yeah. She was a Democrat. There was a reporter today that mentioned everybody's name.
Yeah, but
they didn't mention her.
There were 2 or 3 Republicans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Feinstein didn't get mentioned.
Yeah, she didn't get mentioned. And you know what? That chick from Georgia, her husband and her, I think, or maybe him, owns one of the stock exchanges. Yeah. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I just saw
They shouldn't be allowed to hold office.
Yeah. And I just saw our video stop there for a minute. I don't know what that was all about. I hope it wasn't too bad. So anyway, our recording, I meant. Let's talk about Milam County for a second. We've got a hearing coming up on the 31st. And Mel, let me tell you, the guy that was running against the DA down there, that DA only won by 700 votes. And you know what? If my cancer was so untimely, because I do believe 700 votes, we could have made that up. We could have got
I agree.
We could have got that DA tossed out of Milam County. Now, he's lucky that I wasn't able to go full steam. Because we would have smelt that one. Oh, yeah. But, it is what it is. And like I talked about the other day, at some point, all this virus, all this stuff is going to be gone. And it's time for us to go to work when that happens. And hopefully that's sooner rather than later. Because like you said, we're all getting tired of being pinned up in the house. The weather's fixing to change. And it's time to get out there and take some action. And do the things we need to do to change things for our community. And like I said the other day, Mel, I'm pretty proud of our community. Seems to me everybody's out there doing the right thing. We certainly hope that all the motorcycle clubs, all the major ones, all those people can work out their differences with each other. And we can work for a common cause. And especially when it comes to the Constitution and what we see going on in the courts across this country. We want everybody to be able to have a fair trial, a fair day in court, without a bunch of shenanigans. You want to comment on that a second? I don't guess so. Okay, I'm trying to pitch it to you.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's where we're at right now, and we'll make it through all this. We'll be in good shape, and so, Mel, I think we're just about done for the evening.
Yeah, I think we've made it round the horn.
Yeah, and I apologize for talking to everybody about too much about this virus stuff. I mean, that is the number one topic in the news right now. And
it's what's running our lives right now.
It certainly is, and we're not immune to any of this. We're just not. But with that, everybody, ride safe.
And stay 6 feet apart.
That's right. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Good night.